You ever feel that urge right after a breakup? The one that whispers, reach out. Just one more time. Maybe it's to get closure, maybe to say you're sorry, or maybe because the silence feels unbearable. But here's the truth. The coldest thing you can do after a breakup is also the most powerful. Say nothing. Absolutely nothing. No texts. No calls. No, how have you been? Just silence. And before you think this is about playing games or trying to hurt the other person, it's not. It's about reclaiming your peace. It's about self-respect. Now I get it that silence feels brutal at first, like you're freezing yourself out of something you cared deeply about. But here's why it works, and why the Stoics would absolutely back this move. When something ends, especially something emotional, we crave control. We want answers. We want to steer the outcome, soften the blow, make it less awkward. But that's not control, that's attachment. And Stoicism, it's about learning to let go of what's no longer yours to hold. By going silent, you're doing the coldest yet kindest thing for yourself. You're not feeding the drama. You're not keeping wounds open. You're choosing stillness over chaos. And here's where it gets real. Silence doesn't mean weakness. It means strength. It means you're not desperate for validation or lost in what-ifs. You're grounded, rooted, unshakable. That's Stoicism in action, not in theory, but in the raw, messy trenches of life. So next time you're tempted to send that message, pause, breathe, and remember, choosing silence isn't cold-hearted. It's clarity, it's power, it's saying, I respect myself enough to walk away with grace. Now, let's be real, silence doesn't feel like power at first. It feels like loss, like you're giving up your chance to be heard, to explain, to maybe fix what's broken. But here's the thing, not everything broken needs fixing, especially when that repair job only drains you further. The Stoics had a saying, what stands in the way becomes the way. That ache you feel in the silence, that's the way. That discomfort is teaching you how to stand on your own 2 feet again. And there's something else you might not have realized. When you stop reaching out, you stop chasing someone who already made a choice. That silence, it's a boundary. Not a wall of bitterness, but a door to your own healing. When you're quiet, you can finally hear yourself again. You stop drowning in what they're doing, who they're with, or why they left. You start focusing on you, your growth, your peace. That's when things shift. See, mindful stoicism isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending you don't care. It's about owning them without letting them own you. You can feel hurt and still stay silent. You can miss them and still walk away. That's strength. That's composure. You're not waiting for closure from them because you're creating it for yourself. And something wild happens when you go quiet. You take your power back. Not in a loud, flashy way, but in a calm, steady one. You're no longer a puppet of your emotions. You're the one holding the strings. So ask yourself this: do you want temporary comfort or long-term peace? Because silence, cold as it feels, is the first step to getting truly free. Here's what no one really tells you. Most people don't find healing because they keep reopening the wound. A text here, a call there, checking their socials. It's like scratching at a scab that's trying to close. And every time you do it, you delay your own peace. But when you choose silence, you're not just walking away from them, you're walking toward yourself. And that's the shift that changes everything. Think about it. The Stoics believed that our power lies in how we respond, not in what happens to us. You didn't get to control the breakup. You don't get to decide how they feel now. But you do get to decide whether you stay stuck or move forward. And silence? That's a response soaked in self-control. It's you choosing to respond, not react. It's you protecting your energy instead of leaking it all over someone who's no longer in your life. And here's something powerful. It's attractive, not in the "I want them back" way, but in the "I'm leveling up" kind of way. Silence speaks volumes. It says, "I'm not here to beg for crumbs. I know my worth." That quiet confidence, it's rare, and it's magnetic, not just to others, but to the life you're about to build. So let them wonder. Let them sit in the silence you've chosen, because while they might be filling the void with noise, you're filling it with purpose. You're growing, you're healing, you're rising, and you don't need anyone's permission to do that. This isn't about revenge. It's about respect for yourself, your peace, and your future. And when you choose silence, you're making one loud statement: I'm done living small. Let's talk about something that sneaks in when the silence stretches out doubt. That little voice saying, maybe I overreacted. Maybe I should reach out just to be sure. It's sneaky. It disguises itself as care or closure, but it's really just fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of not being needed. Fear of moving on without them. But here's where Stoicism shines. It reminds us that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. That doubt. It's a story you're telling yourself. And most of the time it's fiction. The reality is your silence isn't a gamble, it's a guarantee. A guarantee that you're not investing your energy in places that drain you. A guarantee that you're not keeping someone in your life who chose to leave. Because let's be honest, if they wanted to be there, they would be. And if you keep chasing, you're robbing yourself of the space you need to welcome something better. Silence forces you to confront your own value. Not the version of you that was shaped by their approval or affection, but the version that exists outside of them. That's uncomfortable at first. It's like standing in front of a mirror without filters or distractions. But it's also where real growth happens. You can't heal in the same space that hurt you. And silence? It's the clean break that lets the healing begin. So every time doubt creeps in, remind yourself, I'm not losing them. I'm finding me. And that version of you, the one who's whole, strong and unshakable, that's who you've been looking for all along. The silence isn't empty. It's full of strength, of self-respect, of potential. Here's the truth. No one can sugarcoat. Healing isn't about time passing. It's about what you do with that time. And when you choose silence after a breakup, you're choosing to actively heal, not passively wait for the pain to fade. That's powerful. That's Stoicism in motion. You're not just sitting in your feelings, you're mastering them. Not by suppressing, but by owning every single one without letting it steer the wheel. And here's the beautiful, unexpected thing. Silence gives you back your focus. Remember all the energy you spent worrying, overthinking, replaying conversations, wondering if they still care. That energy is yours again. Now you can pour it into yourself, your goals, your growth, your peace. That's the moment everything shifts. You stop chasing validation and start creating a life so full you don't need anyone else to make it complete. See, Silence after a breakup isn't just about closing a chapter, it's about writing a better one. You're not punishing anyone, you're protecting your peace. You're drawing a line in the sand that says, I will not be broken by this. That's strength. That's dignity. And believe me, the version of you who comes out on the other side of this stronger, wiser, more grounded, is someone you'll be proud of. So let them wonder. Let them sit in the quiet you've created. Because while they're focused on the past, you're building your future. One day, you'll look back on this silence, not as cold, but as the moment you took your power back. And in that silence, you'll hear it, your own voice clear and steady saying, I'm free. So here's the takeaway, the coldest thing you can do after a breakup. Stay silent. Not to hurt, not to prove a point, but to heal. To honor yourself. It's not about ego, it's about clarity. About stepping away from chaos and stepping into your own peace. Stoicism teaches us that we don't control others, we only control ourselves. And silence, that's self-control at its finest. It's the line you draw between who you were with them and who you're becoming without them. You're not here to chase, to explain, to fix. You're here to rise, to rebuild, to reclaim every ounce of energy you gave away. That's silence. It's not cold, it's courageous. It's choosing yourself without apology, and that choice, that's where your power lives. So let them wonder. Let the silence do the talking. While they look back, you move forward. Calm, focused, free. And maybe, just maybe, that silence will be the loudest, strongest thing you ever say. Stay strong, stay grounded, you've got this.